Everyone's favorite pillow pusher, Mike Lindell, is back with a new prophecy, which means it's time for another episode of Pillow Talk.
God gave me this platform.
I want to talk to Mike Lindell.
I already know I'm going to win. China did our vote.
No, they're not lumpy pillows.
Biden and Harris would say, hey, we're here to protect the country, and resign. Mike Lindell's a conspiracy.
But you haven't.
Just forget about the evidence.
You're an asshole.
This was attacked.
My Pillow CEO Mike Lindell believes that God is going to kick off the end times, depending on whether or not he is successful at abolishing the voting machines. Now, he sets this up by talking about buckets.
What's happened in our country, and I told our real president this, here's a bucket, call this the bucket of common sense. Take all politics, don't call it Democrat, Republican, take that all out of there. Everybody is jumping into this bucket of common sense. And why? It's more because of all the bad things that are going on, where people are jumping in this bucket. It's kind of like the Jesus Christ bucket. You're jumping and people don't look to Jesus when things are going bad. Or I mean, when things are going good. They look for Jesus when things are going bad. They're praying and they're jumping in this bucket and they never get out.
They're jumping into the bucket because of bad things and they're not getting out. But it's a bucket of common sense. What? Okay, I don't, look, none of this sounds like common sense to me, okay? Now, he says that in reference to hacking of voting machines, right? That's what the entire conversation appears to be about. So when it comes to being able to hack voting machines, that's possible. Yes, any machine can be hacked into, can be tampered with. Sure. But just because it can happen doesn't mean it did happen. You see, in order to show that it did happen, you actually need to have proof that it did happen. And so far, there is no proof that it did. Now you could say, hey, look, this is a security concern. Perhaps we should beef up our election infrastructure, which is a sound idea, a great idea. Mind you, I'm totally in favor of that. However, what's not a good idea is completely upending our election infrastructure in order to push a lie, perhaps a big lie about foreign powers or whomever, Satan at this point. I don't know, okay?
It's the devil, okay?
Hacking into our voting machines in order to deny Donald Trump his true victory. Remember, that's who the Rio president that Mike Lindell was referring to, talking about this too, okay? So, again, bucket of common sense. You sure? You sure? It's a bucket of something. Definitely. Definitely a bucket of something.
Bullshit.
There it is. But look, Mike, we all know that Mike is into believing in things with no proof.
Just forget about the evidence.
Okay. And has decided to tie this entire thing into his interpretation of Christianity.
So we're in the greatest revival in history for Jesus Christ. That's a beautiful thing. And I tell people, we're in a win-win situation. If everything I'm fighting for, if we don't save our country, it's the end times. We all go to heaven as believers. It's a win-win. In August, I came up with a plan. God gave me a download of a plan, and I announced it in August, this plan to secure our elections. And that they turned up the heat. They've attacked my pillow worse than they've ever been attacked. They've tried to attack me. This has been the worst attack. They don't want these machines gone, everybody. They want these computers to stay in place. The uniparty, deep state globalists, the evil that's out there. This is where it's at. There's no other reason that they would be attacking me now.
There is no other reason they would be attacking me right now. Actually, there is. And that's the fact that you're just wrong. Unlike the existence of God, you can definitively prove if voting machines have or have not been tampered with, okay? Because, I mean, how do you do that? You examine them. People have examined them. Yes, people have examined the so-called evidence that you brought. Mike Pillow personally owes a forensic analyst about $5 million for showing that his so-called election data wasn't actually related to the election at all. It was the Prove Mike Wrong challenge, and guess what? He proved Mike wrong. Okay? So, but don't worry, guys. God gave him a download. A download, huh? Sure. Okay.
They call them dumps, big, massive dumps.
That's the kind of download that we're getting consistently from Mike Lindell, okay? And Donald Trump on a lot of these issues, okay? But look, if he loses, though, that's fine because, you know what? The rapture, everybody goes to heaven, all right? Jesus gets out the big old vacuum cleaner, all right? Whether it be a Dyson or a Hoover, I don't know. It sucks everybody up into heaven. So apparently it's a win-win. Oh, okay, good to know, I guess. But if God can start the end times, if you lose, then why not just intervene and make you win? Get rid of the voting machine and skip the whole end times thing. Or just skip the election in general. Or why don't you just, use your influence in order to, determine the outcome of an election, which apparently they think they can do, unless, of course, someone that they don't like wins. Because if you follow that logic, then God has already chosen a president, and that means, oh no, God wanted Joe Biden to be the president of the United States.
Oh no!
Every right-winger's head just exploded, right? No, what this is that it's a perversion of religion. Okay, using religion to their own ends. That's it. This is why I believe that organized religion can be dangerous. I'm not saying it always is dangerous. I'm saying it can be dangerous because it is so easy for certain people to weaponize it. And there are too many people right now that will not question it. Now, that is beginning to change, but on the right wing, this unquestionable dogma, if you relate anything to religion, then suddenly it becomes unquestionable and you just have to follow whomever the anointed speaker is. In this case, one of the anointed speakers is Donald Trump. Another one who's trying to be that is Mike Lindell. Mike is setting himself up as some sort of saint who is personally getting downloads from God. Now, if you talk to God, that's religion, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. If God talks back, you might have a mental illness. Or in Mike's case, you might have an addiction. Look, Mike Lindell, and speaking of that addiction, right, he went from crack to severe Christianity, right? And at one point, his addictive personality was used by shady right-wing groups that were just looking to use him for his money. Okay? And that money, of course, was used to prop up Donald Trump. That's why he personally met with Donald Trump. And that's kind of the story of how he went from, kind of weirdo pillow salesman with those funny commercials to this. It just went from there and snowballed into complete and utter lunacy.